I'm Drake. Welcome to Working Dragon Mystic, where we discuss real, metaphysical, and occult knowledge so that you can manifest real and tangible results in your life. This week, we're going to continue our series on the Goetia with the 34th spirit of the Goetia Furfur. All right. Now, it's hard to believe that we are already on 34 of these particular spirits. I do have a bit of a cough, so bear with me today. I'm going to do my best to control it. If you followed this channel, you know I get a slight cough at the beginning of every year. This year's not been nearly as bad, thankfully. So this has been a great series, and I'm looking forward to continuing it this year. I think we might even get it wrapped up this year, but it just seems like we shouldn't be on 34, and we've been really making a lot of great progress. So I'm just excited about it. All right. So let's get into this. We'll follow the same pattern as we usually do. And if you are interested, go check out any of the other spirits in the Goetia that we've covered. We are doing them in numeric order. So you know which one's coming next, and you know the ones that are currently done. All right. Now, Furfur in the Goetia is his appearance is usually described as appearing in the form of a heart with a fiery tail. Just so we're clear, because this is something I've noticed a lot of people don't seem to know, but when we say a heart, we don't mean like the Valentine's Day heart. We don't mean the thing going bump, 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 bump in your chest. We mean a deer, that kind of a heart. Okay, so the form of a deer with a fiery tail could also be a good meaning on that. Let me adjust this here. All right. Next, we got the associations most commonly used with this particular entity. All right, for rank, Furfur is considered an Earl in the Goetia. The metals most associated with Furfur are copper and silver. The planet most associated with Furfur is red, or Mars. However, the color most associated with this entity is red. And the element most associated with this particular entity is fire. So there you go. Quick and easy correspondences on that. Also, we do now have a locals community, Working Dragon Mystic Layer. There should be links for it below in the description box. Check us out over there, become a member, consider supporting the channel over there even. All our supporters get a bunch of perks, early access to courses, access to free live workshops, monthly spell workings, all kinds of stuff, all for the one single supporter fee. It's a lot of help, really helps the channel out. There's a lot of great conversations that take place over there. There's supporter-only content over there, videos, and more. Even supporter-only live streams and supporter-only hangouts with myself and the admin. So definitely, if you're interested in what we do here, you want to support it, check it out. Many of the posts even have the option to tip. If you don't want to do a like monthly support or whatever, you can do a one-time tip. All kinds of wonderful things over there. And it is a community that we control. It's free speech, that kind of stuff. So we don't have to worry about all the ad problems. It allows us to answer more of your questions in an environment where we're more free to speak on other topics than what we're normally allowed in some social media spaces. Not to say YouTube hasn't been good to us and given us a platform to get this information out, but this does let us go into more detail that we can't do other places. So consider check it out. All right, moving on. The primary areas most people would agree that Furfur is good at helping in. Original purpose in the Goetia was listed as Lord of Storms. He can spark love between men and women. He can answer questions about the secret and the divine, or about the secret and the divine is how it was phrased, but he can answer questions about secrets or that which is secret and the divine. The old structuring of sentences. Now, That's great and all, but let's get those bullet points that we usually do on these. The first one is cause mechanical failures for a named person. Okay. This one is this can be physical mechanical failures. So we're talking dislocations, breaks, those kinds of things. Um, is where it was traditionally usually used in many of the older magicians' journals I've seen and stuff. That is where this was directed. However, this has been changing quite a bit. This day and age, you can actually apply this to electronics and computers. You can actually cause the individual's electronics and computers to malfunction and have that mechanical failure as opposed to more of a physical bone mechanical joint failure or something like that, which can really help out if you really just want to give somebody a hard time or complicate their life for whatever reason, cause them some troubles. It works. I've seen a lot of people do it. I have used it not really on a on like the joint thing. I have used it on technology and electronics for one individual before, but just once. But it did work actually really well, in fact. So consider that maybe. Um, the spirit is one of those where, some people find uses, some don't. The next one is help you to go unseen and avoid rumors when seeking information or secrets about another person. This one I think is one of the ones that I know a lot of people have used, and I've used it myself. Essentially, this doesn't make you go invisible. This doesn't make you disappear like in the movies. What it does do is let you go unnoticed, and it allows you to avoid rumors being generated about you and what you're doing if you're digging around seeking information about another person or looking into their secrets. Um, for whatever reason. Some people have great reasons for doing this. Maybe you're looking into your best friend's new girlfriend or boyfriend. Maybe you're looking into a sibling's boyfriend or girlfriend. Heck, I know kids who look into their parents' new girlfriend or boyfriend because people want to make sure the person they're with is going to be good for them and can be trusted. So, you know, it helps you to go unnoticed, and it also helps from rumors and other things being generated during that period as well, which can happen. So there you go. And the next one is help to make one who is normally calm become disruptively angry. Um, that is pretty much straightforward. You can take any person, even a person who is normally very calm, and you can actually begin to generate anger in them to a point where it's going to become disruptive in their day-to-day life. They're going to have a hair trigger. Every little thing is going to upset them. Every little thing is going to anger them. Now, one interesting thing I've seen about this one is, though it lists anger, I have noticed that this also tends to spike other negative emotions just the same. So whether that emotion is going to cause them to have a complete breakdown at work and cry and just, blubber to the point where they can't function and they're removed from the floor or asked to leave the office, or whether it is genuine anger, um, it's going to generate those more emotions that more expressive that can actually cause a disruption in what you're doing. And I know a lot of people who have used this. Um, and it's worked really, really well. Like I said, I have seen it elevate more than just anger. Um, it can be useful. Again, with all these things, you got to be creative and you got to wonder how you can apply this. This is an entity, I've worked with Furfur a few times. I've spoken with Furfur on a lot of different things, but this is one of the Goetic spirits that I would say outside particular path workings or even with a client, this is one I don't spend a lot of time with, hands down. This is one of the ones I spend the least time with. All right, next, of course, we always want to see the sigil, so I'll make sure we get that up here on the screen. You can see it's pretty straightforward. This one is actually pretty decorative. I kind of like this one. Um, the bars on the side always make me think of those old iron gates. All right. And the un for this particular one. This one's not as bad as the last one I had to do, but well, as always, we'll make sure it's here on the screen so that you can see it and you won't have to just trust my pronunciation. Here we go. I did not practice this one. I probably should have, but we'll see how we do. Um, Ganun Minak Tasa Furfur. Ganun Minak Tasa Furfur. Ganun Minak Tasa Furfur. Ganun Minak Tasa Furfur. Not too bad. Honestly, one of the things I've caught myself slipping up on this one, um, it's really hard for me to get that gun and then switch over to that E. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just stupid, but anyway, that's beside the point. One of the things I've caught myself doing, and it's actually ruined my ritual, not because it was wrongly pronounced, but because once I heard it, I couldn't stop laughing. That Ganon, I was starting to pronounce as Ganon. And I'm sorry, as a Gen X kid who remembered when the very, very first Legend of Zelda came out in the gold cartridge. I can tell you that that's a name that just has a whole new meaning for me, and I can't not giggle. So, gotta tell myself. But I actually do have a friend who didn't actually know who Ganon was, which that's a whole another thing him and I was going to have to sort through. And he was pronouncing it that way, and it did work. So there you go. As to its proper pronunciation, I've heard magicians say it different ways. And is there a specific proper pronunciation? I don't know. That one is open for debate. I'll keep using what I got. You heard what I used, and that one's one that I know a lot of magicians use. So that's the best I can get for you. All right. And we usually talk about my experiences with the spirits at the end. Um, Again, this is not one I have worked a lot with because the areas it works in. So I did mention that I have used it to screw with technology of other people for whatever reason. I don't do that often because technology is expensive, and I don't know, it feels petty. And somebody's computer giving them trouble don't usually actually teach them anything most of the time. And I always try to evaluate any workings I do against another person as to what goods it's actually going to serve. And usually just making me feel better is not a good reason for me. Not saying anyone who pursues something for that reason is wrong. It's just that's a for me thing, right? Um, as to the going unseen, that one I have used. That one I have. And many of you know, I used to do some investigation work and stuff like that. And that's one of those things where I kind of wish I'd done had this back then. But I have used this in other cases. When even a client was digging into something, some of those clients being investigators, actually, old buddies I used to work with. And Furfur did allow them to go unseen when they were looking into things. Um, so that one actually has been very useful. That's probably the one I would say most of my clients are actually looking for. They're looking for that ability to get information and do so on the down low, if you will. Um, the emotional one, earlier I mentioned I know a lot of people who's done that one. I've used this one time, and it got results, but by and large, this is not one I utilize. Because when it comes to something that can elevate anger or an emotion like that, there's a part of my brain that wants to run around and say, what are the consequences of this action? And though I've made known before, I don't have a qualm with baneful magic and you know, defending myself and those kind of things. However, in this situation, growing up where I did and seeing so many abusive relationships and so many just shit people, men and women, I there's a part of me that always wonders if this here is going to escalate those emotions that could cause a bigger issue for someone else that isn't the person I'm actually targeting. And those consequences are there. Those are things that can genuinely happen. Look at the laws of magic that we have videos on, the law of unintended consequences. And that's one that I do spend some time thinking about. So for me, this is one where I know it'll work. I know it will get the job done. And the only real problem here is me and my own brain. I never ever judge anyone else for using this. I do not. Have I seen the unintended consequences that I worry about when someone else has used it? Yes, I have. I actually have. Um, the magician at hand was not too happy with it, but they also knew when they done what they did that unintended consequences was a thing. So, it is one of those things where you have to ponder your actual course of action because as magicians, as mages, we are responsible for our magic. We are responsible for our actions. Um, and we have to live with it. Some people can, some people can't, and some people have different ideals and values on it, which we will be starting a series talking about, things about examining yourself because those are all big, great things for self-improvement and organizing your mind, your logic and discipline, those things. I've been having a lot of questions about those things. And we're wanting to start a series actually helping with the mage mindedness. In fact, that's might be what I call the series. Now that I think about it, that's a good name for that series. All right. But that is Furfur before we get off track. Pretty simple, straightforward, easy to get. Um, then again, a lot of these Earls, I've noticed that theirs are pretty short and simple. That could be why they're Earls. I don't know. But definitely an interesting spirit. As to its appearance, Furfur has actually always shown up with that heart appearance to me. Sometimes the tail was the only thing on fire. Sometimes it was actually a heart made of flames entirely. Very cool image. Um, but in the times I've worked with Furfur, I've enjoyed it. Furfur has always come off as very polite, very respectful, very understanding. Um, so I've never hesitated to work with him when I felt there was need. And anytime I'm doing a path working, that includes all the Goetic spirits, I, pardon me, I always enjoy the time I spend with Furfur. So take that for what you will. Also, all right, we'll wrap up there. Again, remember considering checking out and supporting the channel over at Locals. Also, check out any of our playlists. If you're new, be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications so you're notified anytime we release a new video or go live. We do live streams every Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Magical coffee hour every Sunday. That's what it's called. We get together, we have a few laughs. I take a few questions from viewers, um, update you all on what's going on, what I've been thinking, what we might be trying, those kinds of wonderful things. Hope to see you there sometime. And until next time, everyone, I'm Drake. Take care. Bye bye.